So after finishing up the recap for the last couple of days, this is still the 15th, and we are trading the open for futures at 5 o'clock. Notice the top right corner. We're in this trade for a few minutes. I trail tightly and I get right on out of that. Looks like we can start the recap for day 4. As you see here, we have gotten over the profit target for the actual challenge, 3,000. We are $348.12, which is now $1,902 over the typical $3,000 profit target. After today's gains, we ended the account balance at $53,348. So that $348 goes towards the additional $1,902 that I now have to make. So we're moving forward. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so basically going right into the stats for the day, we were up nicely. It was 1.77 to 1 reward to risk ratio. Average profitable per trade would be 24.26. That's not, I don't even know if that's like just needs more stats or what, but I know I made more than that on average. Looking at November 16th, total contracts traded 58. Total trades 16. Very little commissions. Average winning trade nearly $200 at $197.56. Winning trade percentage was 62.50. You'll see in the clips of every trade today, there were very few losing trades, and the ones that were losers were micros, and I cut them very quickly. Very proud of today's performance. We really threw some darts out there, and I was done very early in the day. Following all my rules, staying emotionally stable, not getting on tilt, not being speculative with trades, just getting the job done and getting out. That's what it's all about. Looking at NQ on the 1 minute for the day, there was a lot of range rotations in and out of upper and lower ranges. We essentially just provided a little bit of accumulation followed by legs, moving back up to the top of ranges, finding a low for the day around 10:30, and then having our final large leg of the day where we consolidated above in the top 2 ranges. Moving over to the 1 hour chart, NQ has really had quite a few legs up recently. It's a little bit of a stair-step action. You get a leg up, slight consolidation overnight, test the top of the channel, another leg up, a little bit of consolidation overnight throughout the day, a little bit of a bounce back down, moving sideways to the bottom side of the channel, back to the midline, and we are just dancing in that pattern right now. I suspect we're going to revisit the higher end of this channel, and eventually we're going to tap a new high from our summer highs, way back over here in July. It looks like NQ is on its way out of this larger downtrend, which is on the daily chart, ultimately just a little bit of a bull flag, back down to the midline of a very large uptrend that I've been tracking since August of last year. We formed a range from Jackson Hole all the way down to the October lows in 22. And then in December, we made a second tap of that low. We eventually formed an uptrend that created its second touch of this very large uptrend. And then over the last 4 months, we've been in a bit of a chop zone and also a little bit of a bull flag where we are finally breaking out of it. Now, if we move even further out to the highs of 21 and the beginning of 2022, we can see now with the touch from that time frame in the past to our summer highs in July, those 2 touches created slightly downtrending that our market's been in for almost 2 years now. So getting into a point now where we're actually breaking above that, there's a likelihood that we could be headed a little bit higher, or this could be an overshoot and we could be seeing a retracement very soon. I'm not here to make speculation on that. I am simply here to observe price, pay attention to how fast price takes to get somewhere, act accordingly, and make a trade plan around that. So without further ado, let's look at the clips from today's trades. So as soon as open hits, you can see that it is rejecting the EMA and it is going back down into a range below, rejecting that range and coming back up. I took a long. I wanted to secure profits above the EMA. As soon as it gets above the EMA, I move my stop and boom, we're in. That is it. The next trade, Same thing, similar in an essence. I wanted it to be a short. I wanted it to go back down to the EMA. It kind of was finicky, so in this case, I just cut it off really quick, but it did go in my favor pretty quickly. You can see it travel back down and then come back up. This next trade, I was seeing a short, and we got to the point where it was just too good to not take, and it really went straight back down to the 5K tick EMA, where I finally took profits once it blasted back down to that EMA there. After that, I moved to micros because we were really close. You can see here we were in the middle of a range above, and we started to dance around the bottom of that range. So we're trading micros, we're trading 2 lots, and I wanted to catch along and go back up to the middle of that range. It was kind of a quick trade, bounced around. MNQ is already more whippy than NQ. So it actually ended up going well above my target, and at this point it's actually making a new high where I tried another long thinking it would continue through this range above, but I basically cut that trade and started to just watch for a second. What I'm seeing here is that it is starting to form a little bit of a megaphone. We continue to fluctuate ranges. There's a range above, a range below, and we keep testing each side. You can see it's about to start to test that EMA. This megaphone is already starting to be formed, and I am looking for stretches in price fluctuation. So as we start to test lower, we are dancing around. I wanted to prematurely test a long out at this point, but I cut that trade immediately. And so we're not too far down on the P&L, but this continues to go lower. I see that we're touching an EMA, so I try a long here. It does bounce up a little bit, tries to get to the range above. It touches that bottom section of the range, gets inside of it, but I already have my brackets in place, and it does hit my stop. So that's a little bit of profit, but nothing that I was already trying to get in the first place. We continue lower at this point, and I try another long thinking maybe I can get some more out of this. These are some of those more unnecessary trades that I was talking about, and at this point, just something you don't necessarily have to do right off the bat. I'm just dancing the P&L, maybe 70 bucks in each direction at this point anyway. But what we're looking for here is some 5K tick, 20 EMA response. This has always been critical, but trying to trade right in the middle of this range, you can see the candles on each side are long and leggy. So that's what I should have been waiting for. So I let this stuff kind of just play out for a little bit. Not really going to take any trades here. I'm just going to kind of watch. I am long biased on all of these setups though. So as we range lower, I am still looking for a test above the highs previously. So I try another long here. It doesn't work out. I'm still messing right in the middle, and I probably shouldn't be. So I stick around for a little bit, just watch. All of this is fast forwarded. So this is all very fast action, but here is a long I'm also taking after we start to range back up, but we're just not getting the same response. It's all V-shaped pattern action, so I switch my bias and I try a short. Here's the risk to reward. I am looking for, at this point, probably a 5-to-1, and it just doesn't quite give me the move that I'm looking for right away, so I cut that trade. And then we're going to move just a little bit more inside this action. We're still at the top end of a range, but I take the short. Here's the risk to reward. It's basically the same, just inside of the last one, but we do hit that target. We are $3 off from the 1902. So I move my lot size to a 1. And at this point, I'm just dancing around. I don't know if I'm going to get wicked out or not, but I put the stop in and it gets hit. I stopped right there at 1902. 32 was the target. I'm at 1908. I am 24 cents below the max that I could make for the day. But that was my last trade for the day. Let's go to the trade stats. Here they are. 21 trades on the day. Average trade 1 minute 18 seconds. Longest trade was 5 minutes 45 seconds. Profits 1902 and 8 cents. I barely gave anything back. It was a stellar performance. So we have about exactly half of the original profit target at this point. $1,554.20 is all we have to make left to actually pass this combine. I know I kind of added some hard work to this that I didn't need to, but this is all for you and for myself to hold accountability for my trading. I appreciate you all watching so far, and I look forward to day 5's recap. Thank you. This is Bullish Bear, 23 Capital Trades. Peace out.